Hi, I'm Katie Farrell with Dashing Dish, and at Dashing Dish I'm all about teaching you how to nourish not only your body but your soul as well. And today we're going to be making a skinny Mexican lasagna. And to start off, I have a baking dish here and I have some corn tortillas. And the thing that I love about using corn tortillas is it's just simply corn in the tortilla. So if you look at the ingredients on packages, I always encourage people to start there and to start to really think about what they're putting in their bodies and what's actually in the food that they're eating. So corn tortillas, if you look for ones that just have simply corn, then we know that this is a food that God designed for our bodies to actually eat. So I'm gonna lay 6 corn tortillas down on the bottom of a baking pan. And I always look for food that the less ingredients, honestly, the better, because then, like I said, it's closer to something that God intended for us to nourish our bodies with. So this is kind of like replacing the noodles in a lasagna, but this is a Mexican-inspired dish, so we have our corn tortillas on the bottom of the baking pan. Then we're gonna make our filling, and so I have some cooked chicken here. I have 2 cups. It's about 1.5 pounds of raw chicken that was cooked up, and you can do that in your slow cooker. You could buy a rotisserie chicken, any cooked chicken that you have left over, some enchilada sauce. That's just straight from the can, but you could also make your own if you're adventurous. And then some plain Greek yogurt. And I love to use Greek yogurt in a lot of my recipes because it adds a lot of protein, and it really gives that creaminess to a lot of recipes where you would ordinarily use sour cream or cream cheese, and it's much better for you. And honestly, you can't even tell that it's yogurt a lot of times. So I'm just gonna mix that up in just a mixing bowl with some Mexican-inspired seasonings, and my favorite ones are cumin and chili powder. And we're just gonna do 1 teaspoon of each of those. We're gonna mix that up, and then we're gonna layer it on top of our corn tortillas. And you know, at Dashing Dish, how I really got started with the ministry side of Dashing Dish is I started sharing not only my recipes while I was working full-time as a nurse at the time, about 10 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been that long. But I also started to share my heart and my passion about encouraging women to really nourish our bodies. And how that got started is I actually shared about my testimony of how when I was a teenager, experienced different problems that I went through, and it all started with really just extreme dieting, and that actually led down a road of disordered eating, including anorexia. And really, one of the biggest things after walking through that journey was I learned that food is not necessarily, you know, our enemy. It is not something that is bad for us. We don't have to be scared of food. And I remember when I went back to eating kind of just more normal foods again, I was actually scared of lasagna and pizza and a lot of the foods that I kind of deemed as being unhealthy or bad. And so one of the parts of my healing that God really led me to was starting to get into the kitchen again and learn how to make foods in a healthier way. And one of the foods that I really started to make again was, like I said, pizza and lasagna, and learn how to make it in a way that nourished our bodies. And so I learned that you can really make any of the foods that you crave or that you desire in a healthier way, and then you can not only enjoy them but nourish your body at the same time. And so coming out of that experience really taught me to honor God with my body and to nourish it with the foods that He designed and He created. And so now that's my passion to share with women and with other families, is how you can also nourish your body with the foods that God has created. And so it can really be anything that you can think of. It can be foods that, you know, you thought you could never have again, like brownies or burgers and fries, and we just find healthier ways and swap outs to make all of the foods that you enjoy. Because I always say, you know, God gave us taste buds for a reason. He doesn't want us to, you know, just simply eat to fuel our bodies. He actually wants us to enjoy food, believe it or not. And so that's really my passion and my heart behind Dashing Dish. And so much of the cooking and the recipes that I share is really encouraging you to find foods that you enjoy. You know, God created us all so unique, and I enjoy Mexican food, I enjoy pizza and ice cream, but it may be different for you. And so I really try to encourage you to find different ways that you can make healthier swap outs in the foods that you enjoy. And so I'm just adding this filling in between layers, just like you would with any lasagna. And so you can see I just layered it with another layer of tortillas and the filling, and then corn and beans. And so it's just like a lasagna, but Mexican inspired. And then we're gonna top it with some cheese at the end. And what I like to do is, a lot of times if I'm using cheese, I just use it sparingly in recipes. Again, it's not about good or bad foods. It's just about making better choices and healthier swap outs to nourish our bodies. So I'm gonna top it with some cheese here. And then I'm gonna bake that off for about 50 minutes on 375, and it will come out to be an absolutely delicious Mexican baked lasagna. And you can see here is the finished product. And I'm just gonna cut into it so you can see, but I topped it with some cilantro and some tomatoes just for garnish, and you could top it with a little bit of salsa or Greek yogurt like I shared instead of sour cream. Put a little tomato on there and some cilantro, and it's absolutely delicious and also nourishing to your body as well. So I hope that this encouraged you to try different ways to nourish your body and also enjoy the foods that you love. And you can find this recipe and more just like it at ctvn.org.